Welcome to Season 2 of the Fraud Files Unleashed, where true fraud investigations meet captivating storytelling. I'm Austin, a seasoned fraud fighter with over 8 years of experience in both law enforcement and banking. Join me on a first-hand journey through real cases, offering insights into the dangers and intricacies of fraud. Whether you're a fellow fraud fighter or just eager to learn more about fraud prevention, I invite you to tune in. Brace yourself for a mix of knowledge, humor, and plenty of coffee. Let's uncover the secrets of fraud together. Season 2, Episode 4, The Shoulder Surfers. Surf's up, dude. I was born and raised in Florida, and every year we frequent the beautiful beaches. The closest beach to us is New Smyrna, which just so happens to be the shark bite capital of the world. I've had plenty of friends bitten by sharks over my lifetime, but it's a risk you take if you want to enjoy surfing. Just like surfing, shoulder surfing comes with a risk of getting caught. What in the world is shoulder surfing? Well, in the fraudverse, shoulder surfing is the act of looking or surfing over a victim's shoulder in order to steal private information from them. An example would be a bad actor looking over your grandmother's shoulder to steal her phone password, her card PIN, her email address password, or really anything else of value. Maybe the recipe to her world-famous chocolate chip cookies. Oh, but you think only your grandma would be targeted for shoulder surfing? Wrong. Have you ever watched a teenager walk around a public place with their head buried into the virtual world on their phone? They are often clueless about who's watching them, and they are clueless of their surroundings. These are easy targets for shoulder surfers. Throughout my career in law enforcement, I worked countless fraud investigations that started all because of some crafty shoulder surfing. Today, I'm going to give you some insight into just one of these fraud files that resulted in my victim getting pickpocketed. And I want to spend some time telling you what this attack felt like from the victim's perspective. Nobody is safe from shoulder surfing attacks, but paying attention to your surroundings and staying close to friends and family members is the best prevention method. Now, let's crank up that time machine and get going. I believe I worked this case back in early 2019. Oh, hey there. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit different than you're used to. This episode is less about me and more about our victim, an average middle-aged male who we'll call Kevin for now. No, Kevin wasn't elderly. He was well educated. He had never been scammed before in his life, and he did not fall under a category of people who you may typically consider to be more vulnerable to fraud. The fact of the matter is, anyone can fall victim to fraud, and Kevin was about to learn that lesson the hard way. Picture this. Here comes Kevin entering the grocery store. Kevin was shopping at a local grocery store at 1 p.m. on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. He was just grabbing a few necessities: toilet paper, some salad dressing that his wife requested, and a beautiful, mouth-watering, golden apple pie with a flaky crust that would surely make me the happiest man alive if my wife brought this pie home for me. Especially if it was paired with some strong, dark coffee. Oh my god. So, Kevin grabbed everything he needed, and he proceeded to the checkout lanes. Lane 7 looks good. Kevin loaded his groceries onto the conveyor belt and smiled at the clerk as he fumbled for his wallet in the back right pocket of his jeans. Kevin opened his bifold wallet and he opted to pay with his debit card today. He gazed over to see what the damage was. 1232? Not too shabby. He was pleased with this total. But I mean, come on. Was he not actually going to pay for the groceries if the price wasn't acceptable? No. Kevin quickly swiped his debit card and typed in his PIN. 7820. He thanked the clerk as he gathered his 2 plastic bags full of goodies, and he walked out the door towards his green Subaru. Right as he was about to open his trunk, a male approached and said, "Hey, excuse me, sir. You dropped this." This dark-haired, charismatic man handed Kevin a $10 bill. Kevin was a bit confused. He didn't believe he dropped any money. But this gentleman insisted. "Here, take the money. I saw it fall out of your grocery bag." Kevin decided he would just take the money and call it a win. He wasn't going to argue with this random stranger. So he stuffed the cash in his wallet, and he quickly placed his wallet back in his rear right pocket. Kevin thanked this classy gentleman, and this man put his arm around Kevin's shoulders, as if they were best bros hanging out. They exchanged some small talk, and Kevin left with a big grin on his face. As Kevin cranked up the Subaru, he just couldn't help but feel good. He basically got free groceries, and he met a real chill dude. He thought to himself, man, good people do exist. It was nice just to feel cared about by someone for once. Well, anyways, let's get home and destroy this apple pie before my wife gets home. If only Kevin's wife knew he was sneaking home a whole apple pie to eat during his lunch break. I've got mad respect for Kevin. Wait a second. Where's the fraud at? Oh, you missed it? Well, so did Kevin. Let's rewind back a little bit because Kevin missed some important details during his trip to the grocery store. Let's go back to when Kevin first entered the store. Alright, so I lied a little bit. This was far from an ordinary trip to the grocery store. Because you see, as Kevin entered the store, he was followed by 2 gentlemen. But he had absolutely no idea. These gentlemen stalked Kevin's every move, like a pride of lions stalking their prey in the middle of the Africa grasslands. They watched him contemplate which toilet paper would feel better on his rear end. They looked in disappointment as Kevin grabbed the wrong salad dressing for his wife. But they certainly had to be proud, knowing Kevin selected the best looking apple pie in the entire grocery store. When Kevin went to check out on aisle 7, guess who joined him in line? Yeah, that's right, the lions. They grabbed a pack of some big red bubble gum and placed it on the conveyor belt right beside Kevin's groceries. They closely watched to see which pocket Kevin pulled his bifold out of. And Kevin gave them his debit card PIN for free because they peeked over his shoulder as he typed his PIN into the point of sale system. Ah, these are the shoulder surfers. That's right, my friend. The shoulder surfers are about to strike, and their prey has absolutely no idea what's going on. So, as Kevin is typing 7820 on the point of sale system, the shoulder surfers are paying close attention, and they are memorizing his PIN. Now that they have Kevin's PIN, they just need to get their hands on his debit card. And that's when Mr. Smooth Operator approaches Kevin with a crisp $10 bill and a cunning smile. Smooth Operator. Bum, 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 bum. As Mr. Smooth Operator is laying down his moves and has his arms wrapped around Kevin, Mr. Sneaky Snake performs a slick pickpocket without Kevin even knowing what hit him. So, Kevin just lost his entire wallet, his debit card, with his pen. Oh yeah, and the shoulder surfers got their $10 bill back. That is straight savage. The crazy part is, Kevin didn't realize his wallet was missing until later that evening. Believe it or not. Everyone thinks they'll never fall for a pickpocketing scam, but I'm going to tell you something. They are good. They usually work in pairs of twos, there's usually a distraction, and the distraction is usually so good that you don't feel your wallet leaving your pants. Kevin mentally tried to backtrack, and he remembered using his card at the grocery store, but he had no idea where he could have misplaced it, since he thought he got into his Subaru with that wallet. Kevin ended up calling the grocery store, and the managers pulled up the video surveillance. Lo and behold, they watched the entire Shoulder Surfers movie from start to finish. It was a masterpiece, if it weren't for the fraud involved. To top it off, Kevin was the third victim targeted that week at that same grocery store. Man, the Shoulder Surfers were busy. Kevin logged into his online banking and found thousands of dollars in unauthorized transactions. And that's when he decided, I should probably call the cops. And ultimately, you guessed it, I got assigned to this case. Now, the detective's here to save the day. The transactions were all located in the Orlando, Florida area, just outside of the theme parks. So they had traveled about 30 minutes or so from Altamont Springs. The Shoulder Surfers hit Best Buy, they shopped at the downtown Disney area, and they made a purchase at the Golden Corral? Yep, I did not make that one up. They spent about $100 at the Golden Corral. They were living it up with their entire family. I was able to get video surveillance from most of the stores, but not Golden Corral. Sadly, because that would have made an awesome police bulletin photo. I would have probably used that thing as a wallpaper. I mean, come on. Catching your suspects indulging in some Golden Corral? That would be the perfect photo. Anyways, from the video surveillance I got, I could tell the suspects appeared to be Romanian, but I had no other leads. I ended up putting out some bulletins with the lame photos I had, and the case went dry. I eventually ended up completely forgetting about this fraud file. I just assumed it would never be solved. I had so many cases on my desk, so I just moved on to the next one. The end. Detective Harris. Several months later, I received this phone call completely out of the blue. It was a random call from a detective out of Tennessee, and lo and behold, I was told they solved my pickpocketing case. No way. Yes way. They just so happened to arrest my suspects that were driving a rental car up the interstate, and their vehicle was loaded with all sorts of electronics and a bunch of wallets stolen from pickpocket victims, including Kevin's wallet and his stolen driver's license. This detective in Tennessee was really just calling to let me know he recovered Kevin's wallet, but they had no idea I had been trying to solve this case for months. I sent the detective over my bulletin photos, and he was able to confirm they had both of my shoulder surfing suspects locked up behind bars. Because of this, I was able to file additional charges, now that I had my suspects positively identified. So, I never got to actually arrest the shoulder surfers and place them in my fancy, blacked out handcuffs, but I was able to file charges on them. The detective in Tennessee was trying to build up enough charges to go statewide or even federal, but I'm really not sure whatever happened with these knuckleheads. They had only been in the United States for a few months, but they sure did some damage. If you thought pickpocketing was old school or non-existent anymore, then you are completely wrong. Shoulder surfing and pickpocketing go hand in hand, and both of these threats still exist. The next time you go to the grocery store to sneak in some afternoon dessert, be careful, because the calories aren't the only things you need to watch out for. And there you have it, fraud fighters. Shoulder surfing is still a serious threat in the fraudverse. Always watch your surroundings and cover your PIN when you enter it into a point-of-sale system. Join us next time as we delve into the world of financial intrigue, exposing the tricks of the trade while sharing a laugh or two. Remember, not all heroes wear capes, some wear accountant badges and detective hats. This podcast is presented by Fraud Warfare. If you are interested in supporting us through promoted ads, please connect with me on LinkedIn. Please consider sharing this podcast with a friend or family member, and be sure to leave us a review on your podcasting platform of choice. You can also support us financially through our buymeacoffee.com/Fraud Warfare page. 100% of these funds go towards improving the quality of our podcast, and of course some coffee. Thanks for listening. I want to give a special shout out to Candace B, who donated $25 to support our podcast last week. Thank you so much for your support, Candace.